What is up, car addicts? Welcome back to my top 10 series, and this one we're going to be discussing the top 10 best free cars in GTA Online in 2023 in my personal opinion. Now, I will not be including free cars that you get as rewards for completing certain tasks with an owned property, like the Weevil from English Dave, which requires you owning a Kasatka, or the Paragon Armored, which requires you owning a casino penthouse and doing the Agatha Baker missions. Also, I will not be including the free cars from the Criminal Enterprises starter pack either. Now, there will be a few street cars on here, but those account for less than half of the cars on this list. But anyways, let's get right into it. Starting off with number 10, we have the Marshall Monster Truck. So this one's available from the Warstock website and used to be free only for returning players from old gen, but Rockstar made it free for everyone a couple years ago. But anyways, it's a Pegasus vehicle, which means it sadly has no customization, but come on, it's a free monster truck and you can have a ton of fun driving around with this thing, going over cars, etc. I think it's absolutely worth owning to mess around and stuff. Next up, on to number 9, we have the Karen Fudo. Now this one can only be found on the street, and of course you can store it in your garage for free. However, the insurance on street cars will cost you some money to install, but if you own an auto shop property, you can install it there for free. Now the Fudo has a great customization for being an OG sports car, plus it has decent straight line speed when maxed out, and it's one of the best learner cars in my opinion for drifting and stuff like that. I think it's definitely one of the best cars to drift with on a budget overall. Moving on to number 8, we have the Vapid Sand King XL/SWB. So these two can be found on the street and stored for free, and then the insurance installed by other methods like I mentioned. So the Sand King has pretty good customization for being an OG vehicle, but the main reason it's on this list is because of how special it is with that massive lift kit, making it a ton of fun to off-road with and even climb over random cars and stuff. I absolutely love the Sand King. It's one of my favorite cars that you can get off the street for free. Continuing to number 7, we have the Karen Sultan. So this one can be found on the street and stored for free, and then insurance installed by the other methods I mentioned earlier. So this car has great customization for being an OG sports car. It has great performance, putting it around the pace of cars like the OG Coquette and the Banshee around most tracks, which I find pretty impressive. It does that while being a 4-seater. Also, it's very versatile off-road due to its all-wheel drive system. It's just a great overall quick car that you can zoom around with around the map and take 3 friends with you at the same time. Just a great car again overall. Next up, on to number 6, we have the Ubermacht Zion/Zion Cabrio. So these two can be found on the street and stored for free, and then of course again insurance installed by the other methods I mentioned earlier. So they have pretty good customization for being OG vehicles, but the main reason they're on this list is because they're in the coupes class, and till this day they're still extremely competitive in that class for track performance, being in top 3 for most tracks. And even if we don't factor in the track performance, they're still very nice cars to drive around with sports car like handling and pretty good speed as well. Moving on to number 5, we have the Dukes. So this one's available from the Seven San Andreas website and is free for all players as of a couple years ago. Now this car really isn't all that fast, but the reason it's on this list is because of its styling and customization. It's mainly based on the 1969 Dodge Charger, which is a cool car in and of itself due to all of its movie appearances, and the car itself to me is just very good looking. Now the Beater Dukes variant is better due to its better customization, but the regular Dukes is actually slightly faster and it's free, so that's why I put it on this list. Continuing to number 4, we have the Pizwazzer Dominator. This one's available for free for everyone from the Seven San Andreas website. Now to most players, this car is just a normal street Dominator with a racing livery, but it's far from that. While the normal Dominator does about 120 miles per hour maxed out, the Pizwazzer Dominator does over 126 miles per hour when maxed out, which beats most of the cars in the supercar class for top speed, which I think is extremely impressive. Now its handling isn't the greatest, but it's still around top 10 on most tracks, and if we don't factor in HSW, it's in top 5 for most of those tracks as well. It's just an absolute beast, plus it has some pretty good customization as well, which is carried over from the regular Dominator. Next up, on to number 3, we have the Elegy RH8. Now this one is available for Legendary Motorstar website or the Benny's website for free, but only for players who have a Social Club account and have their GTA Online account linked to it. Otherwise, it will cost you $95,000. Now the Elegy RH8 is a great car because of its customization and styling, and of course being based on the legendary R35 GTR. However, where it really shines is its performance. This thing is an OG sports car, and till this day, it's still a top 10 competing car in a sports class after like 10 years of DLC sports cars. Now it's pretty tricky to drive as it likes to understeer coming out of corners under acceleration, but once you get the hang of it, it's an absolute beast of a car, and the fact that you can get something this quick for free is very impressive. Moving on to number 2, we have the Duke of Death. So this one's available from the Warstock website and is basically an armored variant of the Dukes, but what makes it impressive is the fact that it takes 9 homing missiles to blow up, which is just wild. Plus it does have some semi-decent armor window protection at certain angles as well in comparison to the normal Dukes, and it's got the pushing power of a truck pretty much, and it's decently quick as well on top of everything. This thing is probably the best free car in the game, hands down. But there is one that is slightly better that you can get for completing a few tasks. So, lastly, on to number 1, we have the Ocelot Virtue. Now, the only reason this one is on this list is because it actually does not require you to own or purchase any property to get it for free. So you simply get it for free by completing the first and last dose missions. And of course, the Freak Shop property part of the business is actually free to access. So essentially, the only thing this costs you is some time to do those 11 missions from Dax, which are actually pretty easy. So this car normally costs just under $3 million for its normal price and about $2.2 million for its trade price. So the fact that you're getting it for free without having to own a multi-million-dollar property is very impressive. Now this is an electric supercar that's very quick and is very competitive against the top 10 supercars around most tracks, and it offers Amani Tech, which allows it to take 12 RPGs to blow up, or 6 RPGs even without the Amani Tech installed. So it's not only a fast supercar, but a heavily armored one as well. Again, I know this one requires you to do some tasks to get it, but there's no multi-million-dollar property paywall involved like in the case of the Weevil or the Armored Paragon, for example. So overall, I think the Virtue is justified on this list. But anyways, again guys, there you have it. Those are the top 10 best free cars in GTA Online in my personal opinion, based on their styling, performance, and features. Definitely let me know down below in the comments what your favorite free cars are in GTA Online, and what other top 10 videos you guys want to see me do next. Thanks again for watching guys, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.